What's going on today, everybody? Hope you're having a fantastic day. I know that I am, because we're making some more progress on these bad boys. So I've gone ahead, made a lot of progress on things, and I'll catch you up with where cuts were made, how things were handled. But today, the main focus of this is I want to get this wiring sorted out. I'm tired of dealing with the little battery jumper pack to make it work. So we're going to go ahead and get the wiring kind of sorted so we can just plug it into the car, check it with the car, make sure that everything's working fine on that front. Okay, so we've got our bulbs pulled off of the headlights, all the wiring's pulled out of the headlight, and now we're going through and checking everything. I've got it set up on the car right now, just kind of dangling, but we can go ahead and double check every function that we've got while the harness, I guess you would call it, is still intact, the headlight harness. So let's go ahead, we'll run through each of the functions of the headlights, make sure that they still work. I've got all the bulbs in, all the electrical there. It's just, it's not in the housing, so it's gonna look a little bit goofy. With that, we'll go ahead, start trying some stuff out, make sure that these work. So we've got all three bulbs right here. We've got our turn signal, and then headlight and high beams. I don't remember which one's which. I think this is my headlight and this is my high beam, but we'll go ahead and run through the functions on the car since it's plugged in, and it should be able to tell me. Now the car's off, not running. High beam has a secondary function where it's the daytime running light, so I might not want that set up on there. We'll check it out though. There's the first function on the headlights. Here's turning the headlights on, and here's the high beam. Now I've got the wrong side headlight on the driver's side, but the functions will all be the same. So we'll run through, we'll check everything out and make sure that everything's fine, because I know that the orange shines when the car is on and the parking brake is released. So my high beams, I believe, have a daytime running light where all my lights are off, but this one turns on. So we will double check how that one's getting power. So we've got the headlight. The headlight is working, known fact, because they were working before. So now let's take the wiring off the back of it. So now pulling off the wiring is actually very, very easy on this headlight. We've got your high beam will just come out, twist to the right quarter turn, that one pops out. The actual clip is held in by a screw. We'll take that Phillips screw off, that one will come out. The turn signal, same thing, quarter turn, that will pull out. So there we've got 2 of the 3 done real quick. The third one, we'll have to undo this access panel. That will expose our light. I don't really need the light, so we'll go ahead and take the clip off the light here. Clips off the light, and then the bottom has a rubber grommet that's holding it in. So this rubber grommet, we'll just go ahead and pry it out. And I'm going to need 2 hands for that. So we'll just pry that rubber grommet out, and then the whole wiring system will come out of the interior of this light. You can kind of see the rubber grommet in there. That one will come out through the bottom, and we'll take that screw off. Now the wiring's all off. We've got our connector side, which will connect to the car, and then we've got each of our leads that go to everything. So this is our main headlight, this is our high beam, and then this is our turn signal. So it looks like we've got 3 grounds on here, 3 powers, and I'm assuming that this is going to be my daytime running lights. We'll go ahead and confirm on the car, but I think this one will go with the very first click of turning the lights on, and then your second click will be, and then this red one that goes to the turn signal will be the blinker. I'm assuming that that's how that goes, or vice versa. It might be, this one might be blinker because that'd be turn signal, and then this would be power, would be your daytime running lights. We'll check that. We'll get a wiring diagram kind of sorted out. These ones are easy. Power ground, go into each one. So the headlight, power ground, fine. If we take this, we've got all of our stuff. We've got our low beam, which would be the middle one right here. Low beam, and then we've got our high beam. High beam would be this one. So we've got those that we'll need to connect into, and the hopes is that we have just a piggyback little jumper connector, and I might even try to make this really short so it's like that, that all the power will come through the car and then into the new headlights. New headlights will go through a ballast system that controls everything, and then this has all the wiring for interiors. So this will plug into everything for the JEWELEYEs, and then that way we can just plug and play everything to the car. When we want to, we can disconnect either one of those. It doesn't really matter, but we'll be able to disconnect it and take it out of the car if we need to. And if we want to, we can disconnect it from here, and this will go to any other car that has the Subaru headlights like this. We'll go ahead, we'll stick this one on the ground because there's no better ground than the actual grounding post. And we'll take our connector here, and looking at our existing one, all of these bottom ones right here, which are on the clip side, so I guess technically the top of the clip, are all black. That's a very good indication that those ones are probably our negatives. Negatives on the top makes sense. So we'll just take the other end of this lead here, run through the tops. That one goes to 0, so that's a ground, that's good. That's a ground, that's good. And that's a ground, that's good. Now we can run through things like the power side. The power side's open, which is what we want. We don't want the power to be grounded, right? Because it'll cause sparks. Stay. So we got other powers that won't go to anything. And power won't go through unless there's power connected to it. So another thing we can do is see if the grounds are connected to each other. So go ahead and tap into the far ground. We'll tap into this ground. And they are connected together. This ground, connected together. So that means I can tie all 3 of those grounds to the grounds that I have on my adapter. They're all going to the same place. We're just making the path a lot shorter now, tying them all into each other. So that is very good information to know. So now let's turn some stuff on. We'll switch this over to voltage, because this is a 12-volt system, and see what voltage we get between things on different functions. Now we know we've got ground, so we can check ground here, or we can check ground off the battery. I'm going to check ground off the battery because that'll be ground for everything. So we've got our first click of the headlight on. Now, basing off the wires that we see, we should see either this green or this red should have power. This black one, we've determined that the black one is grounded, so it's grounded to the chassis. It's going to the black terminal. So that leaves the question, the red or the green. So the first click, let's see if it's red or green, and we can single those out by looking at the back of this, which mirrors the top. So it's either this bottom far right or bottom second one from the right. Now our multimeter should read hopefully a 12-volt system. So that one reads 0. So it's not the red one. That one reads 12. So that's the green one. Yes, the green wire is the first click. Now if I go ahead and see if I can stick this in here, it's reading 12 volts. If I go turn the light off now, we should be reading 0 volts. And I'll turn it on. So that is meaning that that function is giving power to that cord, cable. I can even turn to the next one. That one should stay on because that's a running light. And we could even do the high beam, and it still stays on. So that's very good information. So with that, if we go on the bottom right, which would be the red one, that one should turn on with the blinker. Now, blinker is going to be tough because it's going to flash. It's going to give power, take away power, give power, take away power. So we've got fluctuation in numbers. That means that's our blinker. Good to know. Blinker's running. So red is blinker on the back side of here. This bottom right one is blinker. This one is our running light. This one is ground. And then we've got our high beam, low beam powers, high beam, low beam grounds. We're making very good progress on this. Now we can go ahead and start cutting these up and making our little pigtail, adapter pigtail. If you're trying to do the blinker, blinker won't work unless the car's on. Hazards always work whether the car's on or not. So bump the hazards, you can turn the other side on, it doesn't hurt anything. You're trying to figure out the blinking function on this side. So turn your hazards on, that'll cause it to blink, that'll tell you which cable is getting power on this one. Little tip. High beams, headlights, daytime running lights, all those are on right now. So that might be a problem because I need kind of the daytime running lights to turn off, but the headlights should overpower the daytime running lights. We'll see. This computer might turn off our running lights with the headlights being activated. So to make it super simple, we've gone ahead and we've got our pin connector here for Subaru. Notice that the clip it would be on the top like this. So this is the side that the push pin's on. That's the top. And then here's the Acura side. Push pin is on the top. And this is as they're facing you. So here's facing you and facing you. Gone ahead, Subaru got letters, Acura got numbers because there's more, and it gone ahead and labeled each one what each individual pin goes to for each of them. Now the blank ones, I don't know. I couldn't tell where they went. They're optional functions. There's functions for like automatic high beams and wipers and random things that we don't really need nor care about. We need high beams, low beams, running lights, turn signals. Easy enough, and a ground. So there's 5 things we really need. So with that, we've got what pins for E, like E1, so that's this one, goes to this one. So we can go ahead and find our pin. We know that E1 is this top left one right here. So this top left needs to go to this bottom right here. That'd be, excuse me, it would be this one. And that will do our turn signals. So, easy enough guide. We can go ahead and figure out which ones go to where. I've already figured out which ones need to go to what module. Keep in mind that the daytime running lights, I'm still trying to figure out a solution for the daytime running lights. Awesome. Well, now we got another piece of the puzzle taken care of. So now we can check that off the list of things to do. Now we got to figure out how to power these daytime running lights, because that's the whole point of having the whole JEWELEYE, is to show everybody how cool the daytime running lights are. Now, a lot of people choose to change the colors with the multicolor array. Might do that. Might just keep it white. We'll see. Right now it's up in the air, but at least we have the option of using high beams now. So, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys learned something, and enjoy the rest of your day. If you're doing this mod, leave it in the comments below. I want to hear what vehicle you're doing it on. And don't forget to leave this a big thumbs up if it helped you out. And don't forget to subscribe. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.